Something very serious is going on behind the scenes, and the situation has grown far bigger than anyone expected. The tension surrounding Martell Holt, the network, and the production team has reached a point where nothing feels normal anymore. His absence from a major OWN event didn't just cause confusion. It set off alarms across social media, across the fan base, and even among people who follow the entertainment industry closely. It wasn't just that he didn't show up. It was the silence surrounding the situation. No explanation, no posts, no statements, nothing. And in the world of reality television, where everything is planned, where every event is strategic, where public appearances are part of the job, silence is almost never accidental. Something about this disappearance speaks louder than any official statement ever could. People online immediately started asking questions. Fans began digging. Bloggers began connecting dots. And then insiders, people who work around production, people who assist with events, people who know how things really work behind the curtain, began whispering that things are shifting in ways the public was not meant to see yet. The biggest question that started spreading everywhere was simple. Did Carlos King finally cut ties with Martell? Because the clues, the timing, the energy from the cast, and the reactions from the event all pointed to something huge happening. Everything about this situation suggests that OWN and Martell are no longer on the same page. The event itself was a major moment for the network. This wasn't some small gathering or casual meeting. It was a highly visible, heavily promoted mix of an industry event and a media rollout. Red carpet cameras were everywhere. Interviewers lined up. Cast members from multiple shows were present, smiling, laughing, giving previews, and showing unity. Everyone was there representing the brand that pays them. Events like this matter because they show the public that the network is strong, organized, and ready for new seasons. But when fans scanned through pictures and videos, one major face was missing. Martell Holt, one of the most talked about figures in the entire franchise. Love him or hate him, Martell drives engagement. He sparks conversations. He brings energy to the show. And for him to be missing from a major OWN event was not something that could be brushed off easily. The silence made it worse. Martell didn't acknowledge the event. He didn't share a post. He didn't make a simple story. Carlos King said nothing. OWN said nothing. The cast avoided mentioning him completely. When everyone stays quiet at the exact same time, it usually means they are protecting something bigger. Insiders who attended the event confirmed something important. Martell's absence was not last minute. OWN already knew he wouldn't be there. That means it wasn't an accident. It wasn't a scheduling conflict. And it wasn't something random. It was either a message being sent or a consequence of something that happened before the event. And that brings us to the whispers going around among people close to production. According to several insiders, tension has been building between Martell and the network for months. They say things have been shifting behind closed doors in small ways that only now are becoming visible. The first major sign is that OWN has been slowly reducing how much they feature Martell in promotional content. Earlier seasons showed him front and center. Recently, he appears far less. One insider reportedly said the network wants stability, and they don't believe Martell brings that anymore. Instead, he brings headlines, drama, and problems that the network no longer wants to clean up. Another insider said that Martell has become harder to manage. Reality TV producers want drama, but they want drama that they can control. They want moments they can shape, moments they can edit, moments they can use to move the story forward. But insiders say Martell has become unpredictable. He doesn't follow instructions the way other cast members do. He goes off script. He reacts emotionally. He can't be contained in neat episodes or predictable storylines. For a showrunner like Carlos King, who is known for tight control over story arcs, that kind of behavior is a liability. The biggest moment insiders pointed to was a private meeting held weeks before the event. According to several different sources, this meeting was not pleasant at all. It wasn't friendly. It wasn't collaborative. The energy felt more like an ultimatum. Insiders claim Martell was told he needed to adjust his behavior, fix his public image, and stop causing unpredictable drama that spills outside the show. They say he didn't like what he heard, and if that meeting ended badly, his absence at the OWN event begins to make a lot more sense. Another major sign is that the network has been pushing other cast members harder. They have been giving more spotlight to everyone else, showing that the show can continue without Martell as the main attraction. This is something networks do when they expect a major cast shift. They begin to build storylines around others so the audience can adjust before the big change happens. OWN has been doing that quietly for months. Even the cast seemed aware that something was wrong. During interviews at the event, nobody mentioned Martell. Not one person said his name. Not one person acknowledged his absence. The silence was so uniform that it almost felt like a script. When a whole cast avoids talking about a central member, that always means something big is brewing behind the scenes. All of these pieces, the change in promotion, the quiet distancing, the private meeting, the shift in story focus, the cast's silence, point in one direction. The relationship between Martell and the network is breaking down. His absence wasn't a random occurrence. It was the result of months of tension, building to a point where things finally cracked. To the casual viewer, Martell missing an event might seem insignificant, but people who understand how this industry works know that this is not the kind of thing that happens without reason. Network events are not optional. Attendance is usually written into contracts. Appearances are part of the job. When a cast member doesn't show up, there are only a few explanations, and none of them are simple. This specific event was huge. It was a power move for the network, a chance to show unity and strength. Martell not being there sends a message whether the network intended it or not. Events like these highlight the faces of the show. Martell has always been one of those faces. His absence wasn't just noticeable. It was concerning. One producer was overheard saying something very telling. If OWN wanted Martell there, he would have been there. That line alone says a lot. Another sign that something serious is going on is OWN's silence. The network usually addresses controversies quickly. They know fans talk. They know bloggers pick up everything. And they know how damaging rumors can be. If Martell had missed the event for a harmless reason, the network would have shut down speculation immediately. They would have said something, but instead, nothing, not a single word. Silence from a network is rarely accidental. Silence is a strategy. Then there's Carlos King. Anyone who follows him knows he loves speaking about drama. He loves dropping hints. He loves adding fuel to speculation, but this time he remained calm, quiet, and neutral. Almost too neutral. Insiders say he didn't want to tease anything because decisions are being finalized right now. That means serious conversations are happening in private, and they do not want fan pressure or public reaction to interfere. The truth is, when a cast member doesn't attend a major network event, it usually means one thing: contract trouble. Whether the network didn't invite him, whether he refused to come, or whether his contract is being changed, paused, or renegotiated, all of these scenarios lead to conflict. All of them point toward instability in Martell's relationship with the network. Another strong sign is how the event itself unfolded without Martell. OWN shifted the spotlight completely onto other cast members. They highlighted other storylines, introduced new dynamics, and showcased content that didn't depend on Martell. Fans noticed immediately. Comments poured in online, asking where he was, why it felt strange without him, and why no one was mentioning him. The network did nothing to calm these concerns. This is exactly how networks prepare viewers for a major cast change, by letting them slowly adjust to the show without the missing person. When a central figure goes missing, everything changes. Reality TV relies on continuity. When someone like Martell disappears suddenly, all the storylines connected to him are affected. Producers have to rewrite, restructure, and adjust the season. That kind of risk only happens when the situation behind the scenes is too serious to ignore. But here's something important to understand too. Martell's absence could also be a message from him. Maybe he is frustrated. Maybe he feels disrespected. Maybe he believes the network has not supported him. Martell has a history of reacting emotionally when he feels cornered. Skipping a public event could have been his way of saying he's tired of playing along. But if that's the case, the network may respond with something far more severe. Everything about the situation is unusual. Everything about it points to conflict. Everything about it suggests that this is the beginning of a major shift. The real question is whether this is just the start of Martell being slowly phased out, or whether the call has already been made. For years, Martell Holt has been central to the success of the show. His drama, his storylines, his personal life, all of it played a major role in shaping seasons. Carlos King built entire arcs around Martell's choices. So, for him to suddenly be absent from an event that Carlos himself was heavily involved in, that changes everything. In the last few months, the signs have been building. Carlos has been quietly shifting the show away from Martell. New storylines, new focuses, new personalities stepping up. This is how showrunners prepare audiences for big changes. They start creating a world where the missing person is no longer essential. Earlier seasons depended heavily on Martell's scandals. Recent ones do not. Carlos has also shown support for other cast members more publicly. He posts about them, he praises them, he lifts up their storylines. But when it comes to Martell, the silence is hard to ignore. Showrunners are intentional. They do not forget people. If a producer stops mentioning you, it is because the direction has shifted. There's also pressure from the network itself. OWN wants to avoid being tied to negativity that no longer benefits the brand. Martell's public behavior, legal issues, and online conflicts have made things difficult. There comes a point when a network no longer sees value in a cast member's chaos. And when that moment arrives, they begin planning exits quietly. They begin distancing quietly. They begin removing visibility quietly. Carlos's calm reaction at the event was a major red flag too. If he wanted Martell there, or if Martell was central to upcoming storylines, Carlos would have shown concern. He didn't. He looked unbothered. He looked like someone who had already accepted a decision. When producers detach emotionally, it usually means the change is already underway. The cast's silence was just the final piece. Not one person brought up Martell. Not one person hinted at his storyline. Not one person teased a moment involving him. That is not normal. When a cast talks around a missing cast member, it means they've been instructed to stay silent. It means the network wants to control the narrative. It means something major is happening. Everything combined paints a clear picture. Martell and OWN are no longer aligned. The tension has reached a point where the future is uncertain. The network is no longer treating him as central. The cast has been silent. Carlos has distanced himself. Events have moved forward without him. Plans look like they are shifting in a direction where Martell may no longer be a main part of the show. Whether this is temporary or permanent remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. Nothing about this situation is random. Nothing about his absence is small. Nothing about the silence is innocent. Something major is happening, and the fallout could reshape everything moving forward.